Welcome to Awaken with Victoria Bond. I'm your host, Victoria, and I am absolutely honoured to bring you this podcast where we will be getting raw, real, turning up consciousness, removing the old energies that do not align, and turning up our capacities as human beings and spiritual beings. I will be bringing you mediumship. I will be bringing you channels. I will be bringing you points of view that will shift your perspective and realign your body, your mind, and your soul. Enjoy this ride. This comes from my heart to yours, and know that while you're listening to this, indeed you are helping to create this. Enjoy the ride, and I'll see you inside. Hey everybody, I am Victoria Bond, a spiritual empowerment coach and a psychic medium, and I have a very special guest with me today. Welcome, Amanda Lamb.
Hello, thanks for having me again.
Yeah, we have definitely done interviews in the past, and the reason why this is such a special guest is because Amanda is my little sister. Cringe. She's like, oh. And Amanda has become very successful in her own right as a psychic medium. So one of the things about Amanda is she's always been like, I don't want to be in your shadow. I was like, hey, Amanda, let's get married together. Let's do this together. And she's always said, no, Victoria.
Can it be at your birth?
Yeah. Can we please be at each other's births? She didn't want that. So I totally understand that and respect that Amanda is successful in her own right. And of course, yes. I'm absolutely delighted to know that we are doing very similar things in business. So Amanda, you are currently, we're recording this from your spiritual space and obviously from my office. And let's have a little chat about this, right? So when did you actually start really remembering and embodying mediumship?
Oh, not really doing it as a business or as anything like deep until probably 2-3 years ago. Before that, obviously, we've come from a family that's had a long line of spiritual light workers, psychic mediums. There's so much of that in our family, but there was very, very obviously, as you know, very pushed down, not very talked about, not celebrated, a lot of fear there, a lot of masks there as well. So it's always been kind of something we've been aware of, I think, if not consciously, subconsciously for quite some time, along with all the rest of our siblings. But yeah, the past 3 years, it's become a business. 2 years, it's become a business. And it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper every client, really, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And for those of you who have never listened to any of my podcasts or haven't actually interacted with Amanda or myself, just to give you a little bit of a background, we've been brought up Catholic, and I totally believe it was a beautiful, beautiful upbringing with a lot of sacred prayer, holy water, even like they do the kind of their own incense smudging around, I don't know if it's Easter or something like that. I don't really remember, but we were brought up with that gorgeous sacred energy of Mother Mary, which I know Amanda and I both work with as well, and the Christ consciousness of Jesus. But we're still playing in those energies, but they're different now. They're not coming from a religious aspect. And we have got our own children. Amanda's got 2 little girls. I've got a little boy and a girl. We also have got a sister and 2 brothers. So we are very close in age. There's about 2.5 years difference between us. We were the eldest 2, so we were kind of joint at the hip. Although Amanda is a manifest generator and she is an emotional authority, I am a projector in the HD, and I'm a non-emotional, but we're both 3/5s. So we are very similar personality-wise, and we read very similar as well, which is super interesting. So we do have clients coming backwards and forth between the 2 of us. But I remember, Amanda, when I first said to you, you know, I was playing with cards, I was kind of a little bit secretive about it. And I remember you going, oh, can I like touch them? Can I?
It was like it was taboo. It was like, quick, put the cards away, we've got visitors coming, or, you know, it was almost like it was a secretive kind of naughty thing that we were dabbling into, or you were dabbling into at the time. And I was like, oh, like it feels so naughty, but it feels so right. And it's just light, isn't it? It's light and love. So yeah, it was so funny.
It was really funny. And I know you were kind of supporting me in when I was kind of coming out of the spiritual closet, so to speak. So our mum is still not supportive of what we do. So we just don't really talk about it much, but we respect each other in the fact that, you know, beliefs are a thing to be respected and not to be judged. But it's kind of interesting. You kind of watched me go through it. And then all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, you know, I'm realizing that I'm hearing spirit. You work with babies a lot, babies that have passed over. You've got your own spirit angels that have passed over. And I work with a lot of suicide entities. And of course, we're natural energy clearers. And this is, like you mentioned at the beginning, we've come from a long line of actual mediums,
Absolutely.
but we were never allowed to dabble. So we always knew, right? We always knew about the exorcisms, about the darker energies and how not to dabble. We always knew that our uncle, you know, he saw someone in his dream and the next day she turned up. Great grandmother's seeing spirit on the farm. Our great grandmother on the other side, so it's actually been on both sides. Totally didn't think about that. The great grandmother on the other side, our nana, mum, we grew up with stories that there was a knock on the door and the neighbor would have died. Or mum got a knock on the door one day when she's in the shower, get the door, and the neighbor had passed away, seeing spirit in the gardens. And it was one of those things we loved those stories, but it was one of those things that you didn't dabble in, you gave it up to God. When you were watching me go through that as well, like, how did you shift your perspective from, oh, don't touch the cards, don't go there, to this is fucking epic and I've got a gift?
Yeah. So I remember it was actually before I started my business, because obviously I had to be completely barriers down to start my business. I remember you were talking about, because I used to pray. It was so funny. You and our brother used to always say, you know, all these things about religion and you're changing. And I used to pray for you guys. I was like, oh my God, you've got to come back. Like, it was, now I think about it, I'm like, what the fuck? Sorry. So where was I going with that? I remember you saying to me, you know, because I was saying about how my thoughts and everything had kind of changed around religion. Like, obviously, it's religion itself I'm not into. It's the holiness, it's the sacred, it's the energy, it's the love, it's the light, it's that kind of stuff that still remains, because that's what it's all about. But I remember you saying to me, you know, I don't think you've quite dropped the religious stuff yet, but you'll get there. And I was like, oh, I probably won't. You know, I'm never going to drop that. It's like not okay to do that. And then all of a sudden it was like this big shift, and getting bars, like access bars, really helped with that, because just allowing not allowing other people's thought patterns, their fears, what's been instilled in me from a child, allowing that to drop and to make my own mind up. Obviously following in your footsteps, our other sister she'd already got these amazing ideas already of what she believed in. And I was like, it's okay to drop that. I don't have to believe what I was brought up with. I can believe whatever I want. And then it was just dropping the barriers, dropping all the barriers of everything I've ever been taught, you know, and just making my own mind up. And it was like a light bulb, like, wow, you can still believe in God. You can still call upon those sacred energies for your healings and readings. You know, like you said, Christ conscious energy, that Mother Mary, all that kind of stuff is still there, exists, but just in my mind in a different way. We're using it to help, perspective. Using it to help people rather than put fear into people. Just calling upon that energy. It's change, total perspective. But access bars, that was a huge turning point for me. Just getting my bars run quite regularly from you, dropping all those barriers was amazing. Light bulb moment, completely.
Mm-hmm. And we get taught to put up barriers.
And to be fearful as well.
Yeah, so we get taught to put up barriers. We get taught to literally take on the points of views, the considerations, the judgments, and we've put this under an umbrella of discernment. And I just call a whole motherfucking lot of BS on that. Because at the end of the day, like you say, you're getting your bars run. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it is essentially a process of touching pressure points on the head that helps release what we've built up from the conditioning and the programming of our external worlds. And it's just fascinating when you start asking a question, well, what else is possible with these spiritual gifts? And what do I actually believe? And one of the things that for me personally was, how can we as Catholics just be right and everybody else be wrong? Yeah,
exactly. That's a huge one, eh? And also it was going to where were we going? Oh, it was like a Christmas thing one day. It was like a combined, all the churches put together this amazing thing for the community, but the Catholics weren't involved because it was to do with this particular religion. And I was like, hang on a minute, that's not okay. Like all of these different churches and beliefs all came together, apart from one specific didn't want to have anything to do with it. And I was like, that does not sound right to me. That's just what makes them right and these people wrong. There's no right and wrong. It's just, that was mind-blowing that happened. That there was such a division between one specific group of people to this huge collaboration of people for the better. And they were doing stuff for the community, for people, like helping people. And it was just, it was strange to me that even was a thing, this division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find it absolutely fascinating when you start asking questions and saying, what do I truly believe? And for me, I don't know about you, Amanda, but I got really angry. I went through nearly a grieving process, and I know you lost some babies, and it was very, very hard. And I think that was probably a huge part of your awakening, and that it was very, very deep and traumatic. Trauma and death and epiphanies are the things that change us. And for me, it was like I went through a death of myself. And I remember seeing you and Rachel, our other sister, going for a walk, and I was walking behind you, and I felt so massively separated. And this is because I had created my own separation, trying to figure out who I was. I went through the dark night of the soul as I was waking up and realizing, oh my God, has my life been a lie? Am I in a lie? And I was really, really angry, and I created the separation, and I was so angry, and I was like, Jesus and Mary and God, all of this is bullshit. And I was really, really, really fucked off. Like, I went through this grieving process, and now I've come back around in a circle and realized with a simple shift of perspective, a whole lot of consciousness and empowerment, realizing I am one with God consciousness, and we can use all of these resources around us, which is including these high frequencies of beings, these different collective energies, but also these ascended masters. And we're bringing these energies through, and we're reading the vibration of our clients. So we've tended to put mediums, right? We're both mediums, modern mediums. That's what we are. We're not freaking sitting there like I've got incense going, but we're not the archetype of what we thought a psychic medium was. We're normal mums. We're going to go out for lunch after this, and we go for walks, and we have family dinners.
I used to be afraid to go to a psychic because I was like, I thought if I walked past a psychic, they'd look at me and be like, oh my God, she's got anxiety, or she's doing that. It doesn't work like that. And people, it's a strange. I think I was 24 when I got my first reading, and that was huge. That probably was actually one of the first steps that I took, because it was so taboo to get a reading, and you got one. And I think someone else we were with at the time got one, and you were like, just do it. Remember the aura guy with the aura photo? And so I did it, and it was so powerful. And I was like, holy shit. 10 years later, I'm going through stuff that he talked about 10 years later. And that made me think there's something in this. And it's not as simple as, I'm seeing you right now and you've got this going on. It doesn't, like you said, doesn't work like that. We're psychic mediums. You've got to tune in. You've got to be in your space. You've got to be grounded. It's not just, we're very, very normal people that just use our gifts in a certain way. It's not like I'm a psychic. I know everything. I don't know where people get that idea from, but it's not fearful as well. It's just, it's an amazing tool. It's an amazing gift to be given, to use it in this lifetime, to help people, to bring joy, to bring happiness, to bring grounding, to bring healing. And just, I am happy for anyone who opens up to their gift to do this. It's just amazing.
Mm-hmm. I think it's that perspective, like you just said. It's the perspective shift. I used to go to mediums and kind of go on with these barriers up and go, prove it to me then.
Yeah,
I will
exactly.
hide my wedding ring type of, this is before I was married, but hide rings and don't want them to read my body language, have the rosary beads in my fucking pocket. And now I just go to a medium and go, what's up?
Yeah.
Can you have a little read into my vibration, just see what you feel that I'm not acknowledging? And this is why I bring my coaching into mediumship, because I don't believe it's just about saying, paint your color of your house this, or leave your husband, or move town. That shit is literally old school. It is now about going, what are you choosing that if you did choose, it would change you instantaneously? Because I'm telling you now, girlfriend, there's a million possibilities. And the possibility that is more downstream and is more in your vibration is this one if you choose it. But you do have total choice of what you are choosing. So that perspective shift on how I think we've been brought up religious because, and our dad wasn't religious. So just make it very clear, like we weren't kind of like full blown like Catholic girls. It was kind of, we had both worlds. I think we have been given that so we can help those who are awakening, who go, maybe there's more than just this box I've been put into, and also not let go of faith, but in fact, enhance the faith by realizing we have to have faith in ourselves and each other, not just these other energies, because some people think that spirit needs to be on a pedestal and that we've got to give ourselves up to it. And the first thing I teach in Magnificent Mediumship is spirit ain't on no pedestal. Spirit is just people with no bodies. Some of them need to be cleared. Some of them want to talk. Some of them want to literally be a contribution to you. So, hey, let's play. A medium is not a person to try and prove to you their fucking skills. They're here to help you enhance and accelerate your life by using their toolkit. So pretty much life coaching, right?
Exactly. And sometimes when you're doing a reading, it is, and I always ask my clients, is there anything you'd like, any questions or anything in particular you'd like to focus on? Because sometimes you can't just look at someone and know their whole entire life and know what's going on for them. And if people are telling you more about themselves, it does make it easier to tune in. It makes the energy louder. It makes whoever wants to come through in spirit to come through for the right reasons at the right time. So there's more to it than just saying, I'm a medium, prove it to me. That's a waste of someone's money, because where are they going with that? That's a waste of your money if you want someone just to prove it to you. It's all about, like you said, the higher vibration, bringing people in. Yeah, it's more to it than that. And when people look beyond it and people don't live for the reading, they just see it as a tool or as a guide, it makes a huge difference.
So here's the thing, like with that as well, is mediumship isn't just about telling people their path. It's actually about spirit coming through as well. So there's different parts to mediumship. And this is what I bring through in MM, my signature program, is it's about your boundaries. And I know I've been through this with you, Amanda. We go on many walks, but it's boundaries, it's standards, it's your resistance, it's alignment with your HD, it's how your meridians work, it's how you speak with energy, it's about your intuition, it's about cleaning up the past conditioning and doing the unsexy work, it's about becoming more conscious, it's about knowing who you are as a spirit within the body, and it's also about understanding the way you see, hear, feel, so all of your senses. To know spirit is to know yourself. And would you agree with me that pretty much 99% of what you say makes absolutely no sense to you?
Absolutely.
But it makes sense to them.
Sometimes you feel like you're on a wild goose chase and you're like, am I getting anything right here? And then I might get the most incredible feedback, like, oh my God, that was perfect. Because you have no idea what you're talking about. You're just like, this is something way like different to me. But then also sometimes comes through as a mirror. So I might see a mirror image of myself doing something, because that's a very similar energy to my client or to what's going on with them at the moment as well. So it's just tuning into, and it's practice makes perfect, and listening, like you said, listening, feeling, being it, to tune into exactly what's coming through. And you don't need to make sense of it, because it's not for you, it's for your client.
And it's exactly how I read as well. Like quite often, all of a sudden I'll see my grandfather and I go, is this granddad coming to talk to me, or is this me saying that my client has a granddad that is just like my granddad? So we get showed images, and I know we're very similar. You are very clairaudient. I am very claircognient. They're probably our strengths, but we are all of the clairs. And like you said, every reading I do, I strengthen. So I've got a question for you. I remember you saying to me probably about a year ago, hey, Victoria, can I have a session with you, a business session? Because obviously we do readings and stuff for each other all the time. And I was like, totally. I sat down on your couch and I said, go for it. You ask me the questions and I'll answer them. After that, you applied what we went through and your business took off, and you ended up with literally a waiting list for, 3 weeks, 3 months. I don't know. You have a pretty big waiting list from time to time. What did you learn? What did you learn when we had that session that transformed your business?
So actually it was almost 2 years ago. Like, that's how quickly time flies.
Wow.
It feels like it was only a few months ago. It was actually nearly 2 years ago. I just learned to go for it, not to be scared, not to worry about what other people think. A huge thing for me was putting myself out there. I didn't want friends that didn't believe in this kind of stuff to see me. I actually lost a few very close friends because of this kind of work and stuff, but that's fine because it's been replaced by true, really good soul friends. I learned just to drop my barriers. I learned to so much stuff in that one small session. Like, it was incredible. So much stuff just to put myself out there, not be afraid, trust what comes through. That was the main thing that you were saying, is just trust, drop your barriers and trust what comes through, because it comes through for a reason. You're not making it up, which was a big thing. I'm like, is this made up? And no, it's not. Everything that comes through, and I tell that to a lot of my clients who go through similar things, you've got to trust your instincts. You've got to trust what comes through for you, because it's there for a reason. What else did you tell me? Oh, there was just so much. It was incredible. Like, your knowledge was huge. Like, your knowledge base is just massive from all the personal work you've done for yourself. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just struggling because I can't see you. So I'm like looking out because I'm trying to concentrate. Yeah, there was just so much. I can't even put into words what it was. And I'm the kind of person, being a manager, I take a couple of things and I run with it. So a couple of the really important things you told me, they've stuck even to this day, and I'll go with it all the time.
Yeah.
And to want more. You were saying want more. Want a waiting list. Don't just want 3 or 4 clients. Want that 3-month waiting list. And that's what I'm getting, because I'm ambitious and wanting it and wanting more of it and manifesting more of it.
And I remember you saying to me, there was this little fear, but if I put myself out there, I'm going to get too much and I won't be able to handle it, because I am already making people wait a day or 2.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, girlfriend, make them wait 3 months, make them wait frickin' 6 months, because people will wait for you because it's you. And I know that sometimes you have people booked in for like 3 sessions. So the way your business actually works is you're a guide, right? So you're a medium, but you guide people. So it's actually like an ongoing process. It's not like a one-off reading. It's like people come to you monthly or, bi-monthly to really, it's like you're activating and you're healing them and clearing them, as well as reading and just tapping in to see where they're currently at. So I think that that's your uniqueness with your mediumship. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I quite often will do healings, clearings, all that kind of stuff. And going back to the waiting list thing and like not wanting to make people wait, I can literally say, with the hundreds of readings I've done in the past 2 years, hundreds and hundreds of readings, I've probably had 2 people say, oh, sorry, I don't want to wait that long. Honestly, 2 people, they're like, I wanted a reading like today. I'm like, sweet, that's cool. No worries. See you another time. That's only 2 people. How amazing is that? Like that, because of your words of saying, let people wait. If people want a reading. And the thing is, a reading is more guidance. It's not how to run your life, what's happening in your life. Well, it is a little bit, but it's more about guidance and what your guides and angels and ancestors have to say, or what's in store for you, healing and clearing. It's not about living day to day for that reading. So those people that want it right now, they can go somewhere else and get it from someone who's going to give it to them right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you learned boundaries.
Absolutely. Boundaries was huge. Yeah.
Beautiful. So I know with you charging, there's a little bit of charge around that as well. Like, how am I supposed to charge?
Oh, you mean monetary wise?
Yes. Yeah. So you went from charging like $20 readings or whatever, and worked I believe you're like over 100 or whatever at the moment, depending on what package people get. But how have you been able to, and I know we had some coaching on this, but how have you been able to kind of back yourself in enhancing the price of your readings? This is just so other people can kind of understand, because I work with a lot of mediums and I always say to them, never charge under $100. Money is never, ever, ever going to equalize what you're giving that person, because what you're giving is life-changing, and it's got nothing to do with your own worthiness. But I know that we definitely kind of switched a few different switches for you, and changing that perspective of how you can receive for your gift. So what was that shift?
Yeah, absolutely. So mine was, if I do $20 readings, I'll get really busy. I'll get lots of people. And that was cool. That worked for a little while. Then I was like, actually, I need to know my own worth. I know that it's not about the money so much. I mean, yeah, it is, because you need money to live, and you need to know your own worth. But I had to say to myself, I've got to increase my prices, because everything goes up. Everything is always going up. I can't just stay small. Yes, it's really noble to say I want to help people. I always want to do this kind of work for little money. It's actually my business, and I have to make a living from that. But I know my worth, and I know that I had to drop a lot of boundaries around money, a lot of barriers around money, and this is probably coming from a lot of childhood stuff. I had to drop a lot of issues with money. I am worthy of that money. And so I do increase my prices probably every 3 to 6 months, sometimes a bit more. And I think I will continue to do that as well, because I know that my readings, my healings are getting more intense, they're getting deeper. There was a click, and I did have a lot of issues with putting prices up at the beginning. So I'm like, what if I stop getting clients and all that kind of stuff? I'm busier than ever, because I know my own worth, and I just hope that everyone else can find out their own worth as well. You can't just do things out of love, and there has to be an energetic exchange as well. If it's not a money exchange, I've done a lot of things for people for free, and I've asked, well, can I have a review for that? A lot of things, clearings or readings and stuff. At the beginning, I was like, oh, don't worry, I won't charge you for that, but can you just give me a review on my page? And they're like, oh, absolutely, because people don't see the value in free stuff. There was never a review. And then a couple of months later, someone said to me, oh, I forgot to do a review. I'm like, yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you did that, because there has to be an exchange, energetically, money. There's got to be some kind of exchange there, which was a hard lesson to learn, but I learned it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, because honestly, your worthiness has got nothing to do with any amount of money. And I actually say this all the time, like my readings are over $2,000 for an hour. And, I said this on Magnificent Mediumship the other day. I said, what's the difference between my sister's readings and my readings? Well, nothing really, only the price, and I don't want a whole entire book full of readings, because I'm a coach, and what I do is I teach programs. I'm a projector as well. So I require more people in my vortex, less amount of work. I don't have the motor like you do, but it doesn't actually make me more worthy because I charge more. So our worthiness has got nothing to do with money, but yes, there has to be a congruent energy exchange, because if there isn't, like you said, you do a clearing, go, don't worry about it, it's a gift. I would love a review, because then the other person feels that they can gift to you as well, so they can receive it more. Because humans are funny; they like to give, but they don't like to take, or they take and they don't like to give. Right? They're on one spectrum or the other. So I think it's absolutely amazing. I am very, very proud of you. I know that you do what I do, so it's always clearing first. It's always creating the space. It is, and I think we were kind of, brought up with this a little bit as well, as it's really about honoring the deep space and coming from a place of gratitude and love and grounding.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, of course, trusting and having faith and surrendering, but also being willing to receive money and love and gratitude, and of course, receiving judgment. And I know this was another thing for you as well.
Yeah.
Is the judgment. You said, I had these big barriers up. So the first thing I kind of said to you was, hey, Amanda, what about dropping those barriers and fucking showing the fuck up? And you're just like, what? And because we were taught to have barriers. So once you drop them and you drop all protection and you ground and empower, you realize that you're the strongest entity in your reality. So I know that you do a lot of entity clearings as well as I do. And why do you think that's so important when it comes to mediumship?
Oh, absolutely. So my readings, I always say to people, are done with so much love and light, high vibration, purest intention. And I always clear the space, because you don't want any stagnant energy around. My healing space, a lot of people come through here for Reiki, for bars. So it's constant. There's constant energy around. My energy's in here. I've got crystals. I've got lots of stuff. There's lots of stuff going on. It's really important to come in here first thing in the morning before any clients and in between clients, to ground, just to bring it back to myself, to be grateful for what I do, grateful for the gifts I've been given, clear the space, clear any energy that's been here, that's been lingering, open the window, light a candle, have some scents going, have an incense, whatever. It's very important for me to have a clear head to tune into other people's energy. And people also feel that, like if you've got some old shit going on in the back of your head, or you're busy and making it about you, people sense that. So it's really important to clear yourself, ground your space, open your space up, drop the barriers, all of that kind of stuff. And like you said, it has come from a young age. I think we've always been taught to protect ourselves, but it's more about opening up. And there is dark energy out there. There's dark stuff that comes in sometimes, but it's like I said, I'm all about the love and light. I try just to have my readings as positive as possible. Yes, sometimes dark stuff does come through, but you have to deal with that, obviously. But as long as there's no stagnant energy or anything around in your space or within yourself before you begin, that's really important to have that cleared. And also clearing it for other people as well that may need it.
I think being a clear channel is absolutely, and this is what you're just describing as well, cleaning and clearing and activating yourself. Busy mum, your husband works away a lot, so you literally are like, you're managing like a mofo, right? That's what I like to say. Because, for me, I could not do that at all. It's just we're very, very different. But it always comes back down to being a pure channel. And when I just want to tap those dark energies as well, this is the thing that I teach in MM. It is not about protection. It is about empowerment, and it is about awareness, conscious awareness. So, you've done access consciousness. You've done a class with me on that, and we've been running each other's bars for years now, and becoming more conscious and layering those conditions transforms your life, because you become a clear channel who doesn't think from judgment, you think from awareness. So when we do have dark entities coming around us, for maybe we've picked it up on the street or whatever, or we're aware of it, we can literally just be like, I can see you, and off you go to love, off you go to light, because I'm not actually available for this bullshit. Off you go. So it's not about rejecting it, and it's not about going, holy shit, get away from me, I'm only love and light. It's really about going, I can see you, I'm in awareness, and I'm stronger than you. Off you go. So, and I think that's the same with friendships. I think it's the same with humans. You said you've lost a couple of people in your life, and as have I, of course. And I think we will continuously do that as our souls learn with each other. Then they depart from each other until we meet again. And it's these soul lessons. And the thing is, being unapologetically you means shining bright, and it means being aware of yourself beyond anybody else. Yeah. How does that feel for you?
Yeah, no. Hit the nail on the head right there. And sometimes people aren't ready to be where you are. Some people aren't ready to take those big leaps and bounds. Some people have jealousy. For me, dropping judgment was huge. I was so judgmental. I mean, I think a lot of us are, most of us are really. But now when I do readings or do anything healings, I've dropped all my judgment. I don't know this person. I don't know what the fuck they've been through in their life. Who am I to judge what they go through? Because I don't like that feeling of being judged myself. I mean, we're all going to be judged at some point, and that's something I've had to deal with as well. But I've just dropped my judgment of people so much compared to 2 or 3 years ago even. We have to come from a place of love and light. We've got to glow, we've got to shine, and we can't make ourselves small because someone else can't handle that. We've got to grow, we've got to learn. I tell so many people that in readings, when I can see people being held back or being held down or made small, fuck that. You have to explode. You've got to be yourself. Unapologetically as well.
Unapologetically. And I think this is probably the hardest thing for us. We were these good little girls who wanted to please mummy and daddy, and we've got great parents. So I'm not dissing them, but of course they're programmed and conditioned as well. And they did the very best they could, and we're doing the very best we can with our children as we consciously parent them. Of course, we don't push our beliefs onto our children, but we ask them, by being conscious parents, what do you know about that? What are you seeing? We're here for you no matter what. And I do think we're really smashing out that old paradigm and coming into the new by allowing our children to be expressive, and also telling them it's safe to shine and be be who they be. It's so beautiful. So Amanda, you are currently doing readings and you have got a Facebook page, The Spiritual Space with Amanda Lamb on Facebook. So I highly recommend everybody go and check you out and get a reading with you. We're both 3/5 personality types. So we do tend to grow as we go. We do tend to get our hands dirty, and we love to try things out all the time and continuously grow. And the 5 is very much this kind of heretic energy as well. So people do get drawn to us, and we do trigger people. And it's really important to know for all of those people who've got a 5 in their HD that you will trigger people. And some people will, like, I get people messaging me all the time saying, I'm girl crushing on you. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's so funny. And I'm like, just bring me down off that pedestal, please. And other people go, you're triggering the F out of me. And then they step up. So I'm sure this is like you as well, Amanda. You get people that fall in love with you and also get triggered. And this is a part of the 3/5 journey, and also a part of mediumship to help people expand and wake up into consciousness. So is there anything you want to add about mediumship? Is there anything you want to add to any of the listeners who are considering doing magnificent mediumship or getting a reading and they've still got a little bit of fear?
Just drop your barriers. Drop your barriers, because there's so much more to explore, and you're never too old. Like, honestly, I always thought you're born with a gift, you do that gift, you know. I never thought that your life could change so much from being very, very grown up, very quite religious, to being a psychic medium, clairvoyant, Reiki practitioner, you know, like things. There is a huge contrast between what I do and what I did do. Just drop your barriers, because you never know where life's going to lead you. Your guides and angels are always there, and they're not going to lead you down the wrong path. You know, they're always going to kind of show you the light. So just go for it. Just do it. If you want to be a medium or you want to explore your psychic abilities or anything, do the course, because you'll learn. If it's not to help others, you'll just be learning to help yourself, because it's so important to heal yourself and to self-love. And then to help others is just huge. But I do it. Just anyone, just do it. Drop your barriers and do it. It's great.
To know spirit is to know yourself, and that's what I've seen. The biggest shift in you, Amanda, in the last 3 years is you followed the energy, you saw who you were, you started really believing in yourself and loving yourself and seeing that you are one motherfucking potent medium. And I'm very proud to call you my sister. We're same blood and everything. Like, how does it get any better than that? And I'm pretty sure our great-grandmother, who we both talk to quite often, who has passed, I'm pretty sure she is extremely proud of us for helping to clean up the lineage and to drop the fear. And although some of our other family members, you know, they may never be there, we still have to know that where they're choosing, like you said, is exactly what is energetically correct for them. And we can't judge. And at the end of the day, everyone is correct in whatever they're choosing.
No right and wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to put all of your details in the show notes, and we will catch you next time.
Oh, thanks so much, Victoria.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Amanda. Listening to today's episode. I trust that you got those golden nuggets that you required to shift your consciousness, to expand your awareness, and to turn up your capacity. I invite you to share this podcast with anyone that you feel would benefit from it. And also share the golden nuggets that you have learned with your friends, family, and of course, clients. You can contact me if there's anything that you want to specifically share with me, or if there's anything you want me to specifically share on the podcast. You can check out the show notes and find me on my socials, and myself or my team will get back to you. My heart to yours. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon.